I'll invite Brother Omar Shaikh from UK IFC to do a report presentation on sustainability. So, Brother Omar, please.
Thank you very much, Brother Farooq. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here with you in Karachi at the summit. My thanks to the organizers, IBA, Dr. Iram, and the whole team for hosting this fantastic event. And my thanks to all of you for staying around after lunch. You must either be must have a very clear diary, clearly, to hang around for us. But thank you to all of you. I think, as Farooq said, day 2 post-lunch is always a bit of a challenge, so we'll try to go easy, and I will keep it short. I've been given 10 minutes. I'll try to do this in much less, and hope to give you an update on what's happening in the global world in the trends in sustainability, all very, very exciting. For me, this is particularly novel to turn up in person. The last 2 years for us living in the UK, we've been working from home. So normally I have my pajamas on and a shirt on and I work through Zoom. But today I tested the trousers out and unfortunately it's a bit tight. So it's a bit more a challenge. Anyhow, moving on, enough of my comedy. Not very good. A bit about addressing purpose, the next frontier for Islamic finance. Globally, we are seeing in financial markets, conventional financial markets, the emergence of the sustainability agenda. Indeed, it's become a top 2 priority in the global banking system, but also a top 2 priority in the global political, amongst the global political circles as well. Everyone, of course, has heard of climate change and the challenges that we're facing, but in addition, we're seeing a crisis of capitalism, driven, I would say, over the last decade and a half through the spectacular failures of banks and other corporates, whereby we're seeing this re-emergence of purpose, not just short-term profiteering, which is driving a move towards broader stakeholder capitalism as opposed to shareholder primacy. So what have we been doing at the UK Islamic Finance Council? We are a not-for-profit, independent body working to help promote Islamic finance and promote finance for positive change. We work with the mainstream actors and through our sister entity, the Global Ethical Finance Initiative, we are very much plugged in with the UNDP, the various regulators around the world and various mainstream financial institutions. A lot of our work over the last 3 years has been pinned around sustainability, and we use the SDGs as a proxy for that. That word, sustainability and ethical finance, any of you who've been reading about this, there's 101 terms, there's an alphabet of acronyms there trying to describe this. But at heart, what we are saying, which is really important for you to know, is that we are now beginning to try and reconcile in financial services parameters beyond the traditional dividends and financial returns. So financial returns, which has been dictating global markets for centuries, we're now all of a sudden trying to put alongside that another parameter which is typically qualitative by nature and reflects social and sustainability factors. The irony is most of us in this room, well, I should probably qualify that because I don't know you all, but most of the bankers in this room, traditional bankers, are not very well placed to understand that conversation. Because we are trained in a quantitative approach, we're trained in traditional finance structures, and what we're trying to do is now all of a sudden look at a different set of parameters. Those set of parameters, the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the 17 goals there, and the 300 plus, 179 targets underneath and 300 plus indicators provide what is fast becoming the globally kind of go-to benchmark for understanding and measuring sustainability, both in the political arena, but also in the development agenda, but also in the mainstream financial services sector. So a few questions I think important to frame the conversation and your mindsets. And maybe these are stuff you might throw out to us later on the panel. But is not Islamic finance already ethical and responsible and sustainable? Are we not already ethical? So why do we need to engage with the global sustainability movement? The global trends in sustainability, you have over 80 trillion signed up to the UN PRI, and you can use that as one benchmark for sustainability to size up the markets. That's the principle of responsible investing. And we know that the global Islamic finance sector is it's less than 3 trillion. So is there a clear kind of commercial opportunity here that we're missing? So if we are already ethical and sustainable and responsible as Islamic finance bankers and advocates, then why have you got such a small market? And why should you be engaging in anything beyond returns, financial returns? The famous statement by the US economist around, the job of banks is to make profit, right? So why are we looking beyond that? And another question I'd throw out to all of you is Islamic finance a follower or a leader? And that dictates all the conversations you've heard this morning and will dictate probably what happens in the next decade as well. So there's some fundamental ontological questions which I think all of you should deeply reflect on if you have any aspiration to be involved in Islamic finance over the coming years. It is important to know the nature of the industry, and therefore you will know how the mindsets of the stakeholders within the industry moves. And why does it matter, again, for Islamic finance specifically? We've been advocating and talking about moving from halal to tayyib. We know in Quran the verses about tayyib are there, and we know halal is a gradation and tayyib is a further gradation. So as an Islamic finance industry, our pioneers have managed to take the existing banking system and make that Sharia compliant, halal. Well done to them. It's been a phenomenal journey, and you've heard some of the amazing presentations yesterday on the pioneers who've done that. Is there an opportunity now to complement that and add in tayyib as another asset class or as a category which is not just halal in its legal form and structuring, but also meets sustainability objectives and so on? And is that your pathway into this $80 trillion market? Is that your pathway into becoming more universally acceptable? And for me, that's particularly important because I live as a minority in the West, where Muslims are minorities. And when you speak to them about Islamic banking, it's very difficult to have a common language because they think, oh, that's just for you Muslims. But then I have to explain to them, no, well, actually, Islam wasn't the first one to ban interest. It was you Christians. But there's not many Christians left, so that's a difficult conversation as well. We've issued a number of reports, and what I will not do is bore you with them. They're all on our website, ukifc.com/SDG. We've issued a series of reports which cover the opportunity related to the SDGs in the sustainability market for Islamic finance, includes issues like tapping into global liquidity pools, tactical alignment with development funders, etc. We've also issued 2 reports, one on PRI, which is Principles of Responsible Investing, and PRB, the UN PRB, which is Principles of Responsible Banking. We've sized up how many Muslim countries are involved in the PRI and PRB, and it makes for shocking statistics. Our other report was put together with ISRA, where the Sharia scholars have looked at the challenges and tension points between the Sustainable Development Goals and Sharia. We have a report on Green Sukuk and Guidance Note, and most excitingly, probably most interesting to yourselves in this room, a couple of months ago we launched in Dubai at Dubai Expo a report on the Pakistan banking sector perspective towards SDGs and sustainability. That involved a number of the banks here in this room who've been here sharing their insights around sustainability and where Pakistan is as a banking sector. That's the direct result of the Pakistan Working Group as part of the Global Islamic Finance and UN SDGs Task Force. I recommend to all of you to have a look at that and to read and look into the findings there. Mr. Saeed Fahim Ahmed somewhere here in the audience, he's along with Dr. Iram, were the key authors there, so do feel free to pick their brains for any of the insights. That covers where the Pakistan sector is with regards to sustainability. So that's all from my end. Hopefully we'll try and liven this up now, Farouk. So back to yourself. Thank you very much for your patience.